Welcome everybody back to the X1 Bros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. It has been a huge week because Tokyo Game Show was today. And the rumors were Final Fantasy. We thought Final Fantasy 16. That was rumored. But that did not come. But what did come is Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered.
1 through 6.
1 through 6. I purchased it already. Jordan the Man, how about
Yeah,
yourself?
I was a little bummed it wasn't on Game Pass, but I got it too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go on a. I mean, now all the Final Fantasies
Except 16.
are actually on Xbox
And 7 Remastered.
Yeah, because we
But
have
7 is there
7
still.
is there. 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, I guess 11's not there because it's an online game. But 12, 13 you can play through backward compatibility.
11 is there.
No, 11 was the online game.
Final Fantasy Online?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 11 online. It's not there.
Final
I think
Fantasy.
I'm going to go with Jordan just because of his
but Final
pedigree.
Fantasy Online is there.
Yeah, that's 14.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there's a timeline.
Yeah.
So,
There are battles to pick,
yeah,
and this one's not it.
yeah, we have 13, 13, 2, and I think Lightning Returns. Those are all played through backward. So we have all the games now. And then, of course, 15. So, yeah, the only one we don't have is 16, and then, of course, the remakes. But, no, I think I'm going to go on a Final Fantasy journey.
I am. Those games, since they're old, what's nice about the remastered is they updated them, like some of the mechanics for modern audiences, so you can like roll through
Whenever
them.
you say modern audiences, I...
Okay, let me rephrase that. They updated them to modern mechanics.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. So, so that it's like playable and some of the tediousness that some of the OG JRPG type of games had is kind of removed there. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Same jumping in. In fact, I already jumped into Final Fantasy 1. I've set up my crew. Would you like to know what my crew is? So in Final Fantasy 1, you get a warrior, you get a thief, you get a white mage, and a black mage. I am the warrior.
Makes sense?
Jordan the Man. Who do you think you are? You made
You made me
put
the
us all.
thief. Like the one.
I made you the
Like I
thief.
would not play that.
I made you the thief, but it's
I would
only
play a
because
mage over the thief.
I would do mage and then thief.
I made Spicy the white mage.
Yeah.
And then I
think the white mage is a girl. That's her right there, that redheaded girl.
Hold on, let me
Yeah, but
put
it's
it on
spicy.
screen.
It's spicy. That's why. It was the red hair that gave it up for me.
I'm the red-haired
You're
girl.
the red hair. Yeah.
All right,
That's a compliment.
I'll be
though.
your vixen.
Yeah, that's kind of a compliment. So, and
Kinda.
then the black mage is Mac Attack.
Ah, nice. I like it. Cool. Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to jump through. I'm excited to know the stories. They definitely did not. They upgraded it for like the text and stuff for the TV. Obviously, you can play on 4K through the Series X. It's built for our
It's a
televisions that we have
pixel
today.
remaster.
But it is still like the original artwork, the original pixel. None of that has been updated necessarily. But I'm very much looking forward to jumping in on that. So that came. Square Enix is basically partnered with Xbox in a big way. The other two games that are on Game Pass from Square
Hold on,
Enix.
before can we
Yeah.
just like I'm just watching this right now.
Yeah.
And Mark, if you just go back, like I don't know if I get like these games just have so much character
Yeah.
and vibe to
Well,
them.
they're a little time. They're timeless.
and like it's
It's
just
a timeless art.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some modern games that are really good and have character and vibe and stuff, but it's just like these are
so Final Fantasy.
these are the old masters back in the 90s
Final
and
Fantasy
80s doing
2,
this.
3, 4, 5, and 6.
1,
You
2,
get-
3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yep. I said Final Fantasy, and then Final Fantasy 2, 3,
Oh.
4, 5, 6.
Why didn't you just say 1 through 6?
Oh my goodness!
You are on one, Jordan.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Because
know.
he just lost.
yeah. I'm really upset. I
just
came
lost.
came up with
What did you lose?
Shout out to Bofa
Yeah,
in chat.
Bofa's in chat. I lost my game this week.
And his man card.
That's not all he's lost.
By the
Well,
way, he
hey,
lost.
okay.
He got shut out. You got shut out.
Yeah, it was a little bit that had to do with the reffing. There was some
questionable calls.
Yeah, there was some questionable calls. One actually went in my favor, which was fair enough. But there was a couple others that were kind of like, that's not holding.
Are you talking about college football?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I let him know that this is a rebuilding year for me, and
Well, you actually have to.
we'll see him next season.
But this is what I told Jordan. You have to play the game to get good at the game.
Yeah.
Can't just. show
Or
up
I can
on
just
game
switch
day.
to Ohio State.
That would help. That definitely would. It definitely would help. But
No, it was a fun game though.
So beyond Final Fantasy, so Square Enix obviously supporting Xbox in a big way, They also dropped Trials of Mana and Legend of Mana, both on Game Pass. Available now. I've downloaded those already as well.
You have probably like 900 hours then of gameplay that you're going to
Just in those, yeah. Well, I think you can get through the Final Fantasy Pixels because those are old games. They're short, each of them. You can get through it like in the time all 6 of them in the time of one normal modern game.
Okay.
I'm actually curious, like what the
time to
because
play
I know
this?
they're not like
They're not
compared
long,
to like today's standards. They're not really.
That long, yeah, in comparison. But then Trials of Mana and Legend of Mana came out also on Game Pass, so it's going to be excited to see what else starts coming from Square Enix. My theory, Jordan and I were talking about this because Jordan was really disappointed that it wasn't Final Fantasy 16. I think PlayStation is desperately locking those down. And I say desperately because I think PlayStation is behind the scenes in trouble. For those of you that are about to leave angry comments saying, "No, how can you say that? They're blah blah blah." They're winning 3-1 in the console space. It's not about now. It's about the next 5 to 10 years. And I think Xbox, what the Tokyo Game Show today showed. Who am I? Kamala Harris. What it showed was momentum, huge momentum. This was infinitely better than exponentially better than last year's show for sure.
Yeah.
And you could see a ton of games were on stage with them. They showed off a ton of games. A ton of the games were on Game Pass. Sarah Bond came out and spoke about over 1,300 games being developed in Asia that will be coming to Game Pass that they're working with. It's much different than last year. They're definitely making inroads. It feels like the Xbox 360 era again. Where they had JRPGs, they had a lot of Japanese titles over on the Xbox and on Game. Well, they didn't have Game Pass, but the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's exciting.
No, I thought it was a really good show. I thought it was a good show for who it was for, which would be which is Tokyo Eastern audiences. Because I think if you were like just like a kind of regular casual Xbox or game fan or whatever, you'll probably watch it and go, "Oh, well, wait a minute, that's like a lot of third-party stuff." And there wasn't any like huge. There was one thing that I thought was the biggest bomb ever.
Bomb meaning good or bomb meaning bad?
Good, and
Because
that was
because
So
that's
like reveal,
yeah.
the
and
bomb dropped.
Yeah,
The biggest drop.
yeah, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a minute. But no, I think it was you could tell it was a show for a certain audience, and I think that audience was Asian market, Eastern markets, just because
Obviously,
I mean
the
that
Tokyo Game Show.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Was
it makes
Japanese
sense.
half of it.
Yeah, I know. So that was a part of the big. But you want to know the biggest thing of the show for me?
What?
Better than Final Fantasy Pixel? The Japanese voice actor for Indiana Jones.
Oh, I agree.
I think I'm gonna play in Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
And that guy,
Was it tense?
it was like, oh yeah, like
bring the emotion.
I think the English guy is doing great, but that Japanese voice actor,
Here, I think I can pull
So
up.
what-
that was awesome.
So what Jordan's talking about is Phil Spencer started out the show on in front of the camera, and he said he talked about the games that are upcoming, but on Indiana Jones, he did talk about that it's fully 100% localized to Japan, which means all the UI is in Japanese and all the voice acting's in Japanese.
Yeah. Hopefully they didn't get the same people that did some of the
I
English
think this is the
localizations.
Japanese. We'll see. Can we hear it? Oh, it's not. Oh, here.
守るのは
Oh yeah.
You're like indie.
キルクルス・マグヌス
You're like,
大円環だ
no, I think I'm exclusively. I think I'm gonna play in Japanese.
Yeah.
Like that was great.
It wasn't. It gets you, man. It's like, yeah, I'm following this guy.
That was good because it has every. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, shall we just go through it one by one then? Because Indiana Jones is a big one. But Phil Spencer started out, and Phil Spencer kind of laid out the rest of the year really well. And when you put it in, it's a big rest of the year. And the question that critics of Xbox has had is, hey, you've been buying all these studios. Where are the games, guys? And it's like, guys, well, be patient. It's not just like turning on a faucet. You got to wait. But once that faucet is on, look out, it's a river. And that's what we're starting to see. Next week, he said next week Shattered Space is coming.
Yeah, I
You're
didn't
all gonna
realize
be
it
able
was
to-
that close.
We're all going to be able to
already
jump into Shattered Space. Again, he emphasized this is fully localized for Japan. So all UI in Japanese, also the voice acting in Japanese as well for Shattered Space and Starfield.
I want like how.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, how because
It's part of my job.
I know, like I've seen a lot of anime, obviously, and there's a lot of Japanese to English localizations, which if you know
What's difficult is because direct translation is not difficult. What's difficult is like in Indiana Jones, humor is going to be difficult.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is even direct translations. Like what I've seen some local, like the Final Fantasy localizer, who's kind of become famous, but I've seen him talk about like there's no word for that in English. So how do we like? They have to like figure it. Like it's super.
But then there's also like
that's
pop culture references would be difficult. What do they call them? Idioms
or metaphors? Isn't that like a very English thing? Like metaphors.
No, I don't think metaphors are.
Or what's the
idioms
like?
are?
Is it idioms like I'm as hungry as a horse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Slang.
Like
Yeah. All that.
But so Shattered Space in Japan, and this localization, the emphasis here on localization is I think that Xbox is just showing, hey, we're serious, we're here to stay, and we're here to play, and that's a big deal. Then he says October we've got Vessel of Hatred coming, which we're all getting ready for Diablo Vessel of Hatred, and then at the end of the month Call of Duty Black Ops 6, that's October 25th. Mm-hmm. Then in November Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, a new and improved, upgraded graphics, the whole shot world. Then in December, Indiana Jones, and that's where he talked about Japan localized. So look at that, just the rest of the month. Those are big hitters. Or rest of the year, rather.
Well, this month's over next week. I mean, next week is Shattered
Space, then Vessel of Hatred, then Black Ops.
Which I'll be honest for, I mean, because everybody knows kind of like where I stand on Starfield.
Yeah.
I think it's a decent game. Like I think it's a 7.
Yeah.
Like if you're a Bethesda fan, I think it's like a 7 or an 8. Yep. If you're not a Bethesda fan, it's probably a little bit lower. But the reason I'm excited for Shattered Space is because it feels more of like a curated.
It's
we're
100%
on one planet.
curated,
It's a focused story, and I think that's where Bethesda does some of their better work. So I'm actually excited to try this one
Not
out.
to mention it's House Varun. I actually have my saved file before I
House Varun.
I New Game Plus it because I'm married to Andrea in my OG playthrough, and I want to go back and play House Varun with her because I bet you there's something like she follows you. She's your companion. So
Didn't you marry her?
Yeah, I married her. Yeah. So I'm sure that sets up some interesting
Dialogue and stuff. Yeah.
Then he said, and that's not to mention in 2025 we've got Avowed, we've got South of Midnight, we've got Doom of Dark Ages.
Oh, Doom
right
of
there,
Dark Ages.
right there. Like what a lineup for the next year, and you can see it's starting to roll for Xbox. It's starting to hit. You've got to be able to keep up with that pace, and that pace is there because of Game Pass. Like.
Well, what's nice is not all of the titles we got at Tokyo Game Show, but a good chunk of them are on Game Pass. I think that's almost what like makes the show that much better for me. Is like, oh right, more Game Pass.
Yeah. Then for everybody listening, he was wearing a StarCraft shirt, and he dropped StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2 now available on Game Pass. Granted, Game Pass for PC, but Game Pass nonetheless.
Which is interesting because
StarCraft 2 is free to play.
Yeah. So is there going to be like a Game Pass perk?
Probably, I'm sure, because they do have a lot of like
the co-op missions,
stuff like that. Yeah, so there are like, it did go to a free to play model, but I'm guessing like what they did with Overwatch, they basically made it so you have all the heroes and all that. And you're getting mythic coins and stuff per month.
We were actually making fun of like, oh, it's probably some stupid thing, but actually some of the skins were pretty good, weren't they?
Yes.
We're like, it's probably said, and we didn't we like not look at them for like 2 or 3 days, and then we accidentally saw one, and it was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool.
The mythic skins in Overwatch are.
No, I'm just talking about the regular free ones they gave us. Remember? Yeah. No, the mythic skins minus Orisa is actually really cool.
Cardboard Reinhardt was one of them.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool.
Which, by the way, do you want to talk about Overwatch and Tokyo?
Before we do, let me do some super chats here. Let me get them out of the way. Adidas20 dropped a super chat. He's been a member for 12 months. Tier 1 wingman status. Thank you very much for your support, Adidas. And Super Shocker gifted 5 X1 Bros memberships. Huge shout out to Super Shocker. Appreciate that. So, Overwatch got an unveil here at Tokyo Game Show. Spicy, break it down for us.
Actually, and this came out of the blue for me. I'm a big My Hero Academia fan. Jordan and Beast from chat got me into the show.
Well, yeah, Beast recommended it to everybody.
Yeah. And this is one of the few shows that my wife will watch that's anime. I want you to point to kind of give clout to how good this show is. So we got skins from characters in the show. And what's interesting about these skins, in my opinion, so you're going to obviously have fans enjoy this that watch My Hero Academia. But on all other skins that they kind of done this in the past, it almost seemed like the characters were cosplaying in a way. These, they actually look like the characters.
Yeah.
So it's like one step further, if that makes sense.
So it's a full edit of the character, not just
Correct.
not just the skin,
like
or the
like
costume.
Tracer is Deku, which I think is probably the least of. That's more the cosplay one, but like the others, and All Might as Reinhardt is one, that's kind of. But the others, they're like Juno is the anti-gravity girl. What's her name? I can't remember.
Uravity?
Yeah, Uravity. Yeah. Thank you.
Anti-gravity is your gravity.
Uravity.
Is that it? Is that
Taka? Yeah.
Anyways, isn't her name
it's perfect. The skin is perfect. You have a lot of the all the skins, they look so good. And for fans of the show,
Who's this guy? I don't know the show.
All Might.
All Might, yeah.
All Might's the man.
Is he the man?
He's the one. Never fear. I'm here.
I mean, his costume in Overwatch
Jordan,
is
go ahead and
awesome.
explain what you were talking about at the beginning of the show. You were telling
Oh yeah, the All Might versus One for All fight
it's phenomenal.
is really good.
You said it would put hair on my chest.
I said it would put
you
hair
said
on
it
your
would put hair
chest.
on my chest.
Yeah.
Good fight.
It's not to spoil the show, but it is
no fear.
It is a fight that spans ages, so to speak.
It breaks down barriers.
It breaks down barriers. And so having this come out and it's just I really like Overwatch. In its ups and downs, I have been a fan since the beta. I have played since the beta, since Overwatch 1, and you go through, it's like a roller coaster of emotions with this game. I don't know of any other hero shooter that has ever topped Overwatch for me. I've tried, I've dabbled, but every single one has made me come back to Overwatch. So I'm a huge fan, and I really like the show, and it's fun to see these skins come out.
What's crazy?
Who's the bad guy?
Todoroki?
Yeah, Todoroki.
He has like a glove
is
on his
that?
face.
That's Reaper, I believe.
Oh, is that Reaper?
How come, he,
Okay,
how come he
that's
has
a good one,
how
yeah.
come he has a glove on his face? What's that about?
See,
You gotta watch the
you
show.
gotta watch the
okay.
show,
That's a spoiler.
man.
That's a big spoiler.
There's
He's actually
his power. So they all have
his character
arc.
It's just good.
He has like a I don't know. All these people have powers. Okay,
Yeah.
it's like Harry Potter for powers instead
Yeah.
of magic.
They call them corks.
Okay.
yeah. So
It's a common thing.
his is like disintegration and decay, and so anything he touches, he can disintegrate and decay. That's like his ability. Incredibly powerful, and he has had a crazy childhood. He's a villain.
I can see why. If you touch stuff and it decays, you're just a lonely man.
Yeah, a couple flashbacks, you go, oh yeah, that kid had it tough.
Yeah.
Well, and what's great
Sucks to be him.
is I think I play like 80% of these characters because Juno, Reinhardt, Reaper, and then who was Tracer? I don't really. I'm not very good with Tracer. So unfortunately, but I mean, I'm still getting the Deku skin.
Oh my gosh. So it's the one that you can heal and do damage with knives, and then you flash back.
Kiriko?
Kiriko, yeah.
Which one is Kiriko? Oh, there she is in the bottom right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's who that is, which I think that skin's perfect too.
That's cool that they kind of took it to
who
one,
else? Who
one
else?
step further.
Who else would you make Deku though, other than Tracer?
Genji. You would make Genji. I think Genji would have been a far better Deku,
Okay, I see.
in my opinion. I think her outfit is like cosplay, but the others, I
Wait,
think.
so is this out now or is this coming? It's coming out like October 17th, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah, I assume because right now they're doing they got Warcraft events going on.
They're
and stuff.
overlapping events right now.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
And the events are pretty good. I'm getting stuff that I like.
Oh, you're
That's
jumping
not
back,
the case that happens often
Wait,
in
you've
Overwatch.
been jumping back in then? Oh, yeah,
Oh,
October
yeah.
17th it says.
Remember when Concord, remember that game?
Yeah.
I think they had a.
That's right. You said that.
They
that
had
game's failure inspired you to play Overwatch.
697 maximum player base
Yeah.
at one time.
Well, less than that. I think it was 695.
Yeah. Well, that game is a hero shooter, and it's like, oh yeah, hero shooters exist. Oh yeah, Overwatch, and Overwatch had just released season 12,
But just like,
and I just got back into it. I love that. I love Overwatch, man. It is such a fun game.
I mean, Concord was fighting an uphill battle. Like, even, I know these aren't their default skins, but like, just look at these skins compared to Overwatch, or sorry, compared to Concord. Like, it's just, it's just like
you're comparing the bottom of the barrel to something that's very good.
I know but that's
Well,
that's how it
also,
is.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well,
that
we beat
Reaper
that one.
skin is good too.
That is cool. My Hero Academia. There you go. If you like it, check it out. I would highly recommend everybody go watch the whole show. It's only about 45 minutes long. And
Yeah, the actual-
there's no fluff. We don't get fluff anymore. Like, they have it down. I would say, because State of Play was this week as well. Ryan McCaffrey actually tweeted this out, and I agree with him. This year's Microsoft presentations, the last 4, every one this year, including Tokyo Game Show, has absolutely knocked it out of the park. They've been leading the way on all their presentations this year. Whereas the State of Play is it's kind of like, not a whole lot there. One maybe big thing.
Yeah, but it
it's
was
a big
one,
thing. It is
one
a big
big
thing.
cool thing.
is a big
Can I
thing.
talk about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think
Go
it's
ahead.
part of the
Spicy,
reason.
do you know?
I think it's part of the reasons Assassin's
knows
Creed
about it,
got
right?
delayed.
No, I don't know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
go ahead. So PlayStation
Do you remember?
State of Play was yesterday.
that rightful Game of the Year game called Ghost of Tsushima?
Oh yeah.
They're coming out with the sequel.
I would go down into those hot waters
And just think about your dad.
springs, and I'd be like, what should I think about today?
Now you're gonna be able to do it with a
Butt
hot,
naked, I'm gonna think about my dad.
You can do it with a hot samurai chick.
Plus 5 to stamina.
Yeah, it's called. What's it called? Ghosts of
Yoki, like Yoki, or
Yokai. Ghosts of Yokai.
That really is one of the best level up systems where you just butt naked go down into a hot tub and ponder.
But it looks really cool. Looks really good. 2025, and shortly after that, Assassin's Creed got delayed.
Yeah,
It's
something's
February 14th, right?
Something's up with Assassin's Creed. Something's up with
let's just talk about it. I think it's broken.
You
I think
pull out
I
a
think
Tokyo
it's,
Game Show last minute. First of all, they got a lot of criticism. That kind of came down along 2 lines. Again, it kind of came down politically or not, whether or not they were disrespecting Japanese culture or it didn't matter.
well, I mean, to be fair, they did take their source material from a history book that has now been proven the guy was false.
Well,
right?
not only that, the way he went back and redid Wikipedia for it, the whole shot.
So I mean,
But that's not even like, okay. I mean, you're going to have controversy when you do a game.
That's quite an investment to start trying to change Wikipedia. Wow.
You're gonna, but you're
on
gonna,
a book that you got wrong.
Well, you're gonna have controversy on games whenever you bring in new characters. Anyways, I think that would fall under any press as good press for me. But they pulled out of the Tokyo Game Show like 24 hours in advance.
Well, I
And
don't think
announced
they're-
it.
I mean, look, I don't live there.
And then they delayed the game till February. So, like you said, Jordan, based on what you see in the trailer, actually, or the gameplay trailer, when you look at it closely, I just don't think that game was ready.
Well, so I think there's a few things. So I actually,
Do you
there's,
think, before you get into it, do you know when you go to the dentist, they have that sign that says you can't cancel within 48 hours or you have to
pay
Do you
them?
think they had to pay like
I'm sure they. I'm sure they already. It's no big deal to a Ubisoft though. They paid for floor space
well,
for it.
that or they just put something else in its slot. Like,
Oh, that's true.
Like they just said, okay, take this game that no one cares
Yeah,
about.
that's true.
No,
That's
that's
true.
fair. Okay.
That might be it.
Yeah, so
48-hour notification? Okay, sorry, Jordan.
yeah.
Keep going.
No, I think it's a couple things. One, they are taking a lot of criticism for the whole
Yeah, for what they did with the samurai. Basically,
Japanese,
Yeah, yeah.
they're- and then there was the whole.
well, I don't think they're going to change that though.
No, I don't think. There's no time.
but pulling
you know.
out, I think that game has
But
bigger problems.
no. So I was watching this YouTube video. It was I forget his. I think it was like Drunken Asian watches YouTube. Anyway,
Okay.
But he.
Sounds like a
It
great.
was great. It really was.
I'm gonna go down that rabbit
it's
hole.
a good one. It's a good one.
Drunken Asian
like
watches
and he watches
game
trailers.
trailers?
Yeah.
X.
Yeah.
Okay, I now know what I'm searching
Yeah,
tonight.
it was awesome. But he pointed out all these things in the trailer. And when you look at a trailer, what's a trailer? The trailer is like the best of what you got, right? Like it's a very
Sure.
curated.
Well, not in the case of Halo Infinite.
Yeah, but that person probably doesn't do trailers anymore.
And well, like Rockstar did it a different way, where they're like, "And this is how horses' butts
but
look."
again, you see what
Curated,
they
yeah.
want you to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
So when you're drunk and you go through it, you see a lot of different things.
The world opens
Yeah.
up to you.
So
The goggles
The
you
world-
have on are just.
and what was great
It's like
is
watching it on ayahuasca.
What was great
Just
is
opens a new dimension.
this guy was Japanese, so he and his girlfriend speaks Japanese, so she was saying stuff and then he was kind of translating, and they were talking about different things, and I learned how rice fields work. It was actually really interesting.
cool.
Yeah, it floats to the top.
Ubisoft got it wrong in the game.
Oh.
So, but anyway,
No, they got it right. They just haven't updated that Wikipedia page yet.
yeah, that's right.
They got to go do that, and then they'll be right.
So what they were showing is there was a lot of issues in the trailer. So
I'm gonna pull up this trailer.
The
Yeah.
sword was not sheathing properly. Like it was clipping pretty badly through the
Okay.
sheath. Stairs were misaligned with doors.
Oh, yeah. So you said
they're
you
li-
think it's like a Assassin's Creed Unity problem
I think
with all the bugs.
Well, I think they have a lot of
Because
heavy.
I will say, whenever I do watch like the trailer in the game, it does look cool. They
So I
nail
don't-
atmosphere.
This one's from 2 weeks ago.
No. It's one of the first ones. It was like the announcement with the developers talking in it.
You want me to find that one? I mean, I can
Yeah, sure. Find it.
Keep
Yeah.
talking about it.
But so
Maybe reveal.
people, there's a guy who has a gun and the bullet was floating next to his head, and then he shot, and the bullet was still floating there. Like there was just all this stuff that wasn't done,
Okay.
and basically the consensus was, well, if this is your trailer, and this is the best you have to show, what are you not showing, right?
I mean,
now.
it still does look. I think it looks. I mean, how Samurai is just super cool.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Now, I think on top of all the negative press that they're getting, and then I don't think Ubisoft can afford for this game to do bad.
I think it's a business decision. I think there's board issues.
If
There's
they
stock
have
issues.
if they have bad press with just what's going on right now with the game, and then you release it and it's like a Unity situation, you're done.
Yeah. So if you're
well, not only that for just the game, this is an IP that
is a main,
is very valuable.
Yeah.
And this will diminish the valuable part of that IP.
Yeah. So I think it's a cyberpunk situation.
You want to know what I think?
I think it's not ready.
You want to know what I would like to see? What period I would like to see Assassin's Creed go to next? Think how cool this would be too. It still involve samurai, kind of. Beverly Hills Ninja.
I believe that's called Grand Theft Auto.
Wouldn't that be badass though? Like Assassin's Creed should do like a comedic take on an Assassin's Creed.
That would be
Like you
pretty
go
good.
around Beverly Hills as
Can you parody video
as
games?
a fat ninja, as a fat white ninja.
Does does free speech allow for parody of video games? The amount of effort you can do.
South Park did Lord of the Rings,
That's okay. Yeah.
and it was like a decent RPG. And that's Ubisoft.
'cause
actually.
how far
There
does
you go,
that
that's
protection
Ubisoft.
go?
Just take Ubisoft. Just take that team, and let's do it with Assassin's Creed, and still make it like super badass and violent, but hilarious. Hilarious. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would actually be awesome. Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about anyone calling you out on any of your historical inaccuracies or anything like that, because
Well,
it's just comedy.
Here's the thing. I don't think generally people care about like for example Wolfenstein. Obviously, it's not historically accurate. People like it. Now, where I think the problem is Ubisoft came out and said this is historically accurate.
And then so people started to pick it apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
They should have just said
It depends.
It's loosely based on. That's what they should have said instead of saying, "Yep, it's 100%." accurate."
No, well, do a different IP. Assassin's Creed. When I think of Assassin's Creed, I think of authenticity. I mean, if they even when Notre Dame burnt down, they went to the people that made Assassin's Creed because they had the files for
So
the.
you
Yeah,
think-
remember they have that education mode.
So
Yeah.
you think
Yeah,
the
sure.
issue is that Assassin's Creed traditionally has been this historical?
Correct. I mean, that was the big problem with Battlefield.
I mean, I
Battlefield
wouldn't-
5 when it came out? When you have like Go-Go Gadget arms going across the screen and samurai swords in Europe and all this nonsense that was happening, that's what upset a lot of the people.
I see.
It was Battlefield is supposed to be authentic.
That's why I'm telling you.
Robot
So what
arms.
would you call the offshoot of Assassin's Creed, the comedy version?
Beverly Hills Ninja. I mean, that's a good start. Well, you can't use that. You can't use that. IP, but,
Parky
you know.
in chat makes a good point too. People have been asking for this setting, like Japan, for a long time.
So
So
it's getting, like, a
I just
big hype.
I think there's a lot of pressure for this game to deliver. I think they already have very bad press right now,
Yeah.
and you release a game that's buggy and in a state of Cyberpunk or Assassin's Creed Unity, you're not doing.
I mean,
good.
it does look bad.
And
It still looks badass. Like,
let's
even
be
their
honest.
artwork is cool. Like,
Let's be honest. Ubisoft's. I mean, Star Wars Outlaws. I don't think it's a bad game, and I do think there are certain parts of the internet that are kind of hammering it a little bit too hard. I think the game is okay, but it wasn't received well. And according to the memo that the CEO sent out this week, it hasn't made as much money as they hoped.
oh, isn't it?
The verbiage was great. It was less than ideal. No, it was like okay.
You're like, you know what?
You know what that means.
And then you look at the stock prices drop again.
Yeah, the stock.
Well, also, wasn't the other thing here with it? Didn't it come out this
He
week?
called it a soft release.
Yeah,
That's what he called it. It was a soft.
The expectations were softer than, or something.
That's a good way to say it. That's a good way to say it. Wasn't the other controversy around this week that they announced no review codes in advance for press?
Yeah, well,
that
they
the same?
pulled but I think that's part of the delay. I think it's
part of
I
the
think it's
delay?
broke.
I see.
Well, because if you, I mean, I don't know if you can pull it up, Mark, but if you pull up that he talks about Assassin's Creed, and he said something to the tone of like, the game is playable, blah blah, something about the game, but we're gonna delay it, and it's like, well, if the game was ready, you wouldn't delay it. So there's something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like it's.
Yeah, interesting. Well, like
I
Spicy
think there's
said, it's
something
just-
wrong, and I think they already have bad press, and,
Like-
and you can't. I don't think.
Well, like Spicy said, it's too important of an IP for them to. Plus timing, like, aren't they looking into the CEO right now and some
Oh yeah,
mismanagement
the
issues
board
and
has launched
stuff
an
like that,
investigation
so-
on why the studios. I mean, look, Sea of Thieves, sorry, Skull and Bones, for the first quadruple A game, didn't do so well. You know,
what would a quadruple A game be?
Softer than expected. According to Ubisoft.
yeah, you've heard that before, huh?
Well, I never have.
Oh yeah. Attack my manhood. You guys are fun.
Well, I never have. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you guys are great.
Oh, and by the way, you know, I don't know what's funny about this. Go down. I saw this watching YouTube. Someone brought this up, and I appreciate it. He says Star Wars Outlaws got a 76 on Metacritic. That is not the user reviews, by the way. So
Is it?
Yeah, but Metacritic is critic, like professional critics. So
yeah, but
that's
are you?
that's
but
no,
here-
notice
here's-
most people
yeah,
use that
but
because of that
Here's
loophole.
Here's the point that the YouTuber made that I actually really it was Asmongold, by the way. But are you selling to critics or are you selling to audiences?
Well, sure, but I'm just saying that's why they use Metacritic.
But I also think that's why their games aren't doing so good right now.
Well, they also said
that's-
it
that's
proved
the number they're-
softer than expected.
That's the number they're focusing on. Yeah, I'm sure
look at-
he's
shares are
you
down
know,
to 221. Says Awesome Gamer Name.
Yeah,
What were they when we looked at them last week? They were like at $5. Dude,
They're
at some
they've
point-
gone
there's
down.
gonna be
They
a
keep
bottom.
going down.
Well,
when
and I-
when do we buy the bottom here?
I didn't know this, but it's
I think
only
it's been on sale for a long time.
So that's just so only like 1/5 of their company is on the American exchange, and I guess like the rest is on the European exchange or something like that. Like it's
I don't
really
know.
weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, it made me like want to learn how stocks work, and then I tried to learn, and I was like, I don't care anymore.
bored.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm bored.
You know what? I'm just gonna play video games.
Yeah,
Can we
I'm
do
out.
something with my life?
Can we go through? Let's go through this because there's a lot of cool games that were shown off at Tokyo Game Show, but I want to go over the Game Pass ones specifically the ones that we could download today. Another game that did drop on Game Pass this week, everybody, is Ara History Untold. Fired that bad boy up last night. Then Jordan came in and distracted me, and I ended up playing NCAA football. But from what I fired up, it's a direct competitor to Civilization. There is no doubt about it. It does some stuff.
You should download it, Mark. Game Pass. We
Yeah,
should all
Game Pass
we
for
should all
PC.
actually make a game and learn how to play this together.
So far, I mean, does some stuff that sets it apart. I've watched a lot of videos on it, but I did jump in last night for a little bit, fired it up. Excited to jump in overall. I think it's smart for Microsoft to have a first-party 4X strategy game. Like I think that's just the reason is because Game Pass. Game Pass is about having something for everyone, and this is that everyone. It's PC centric.
Well, and isn't Phil Spencer a big Civ player? Like, didn't we see his Steam one time? And
Yeah,
he
had a
played
lot of
like
hours.
and it was just like Beyond Earth too, and it was like, whoa.
No, I think it was Civ 5.
Was it Civ 5 or was it Beyond, like one of them was like, whoa. So maybe he just said, hey guys, make this for me.
Well, you've got Age of Mythology that dropped, which is real time strategy.
Oh,
game.
and they dropped the
you got some samurai,
Japanese
lore,
mythology
there. But they've got Aura History Untold now.
I'm going to just pull up Age of Mythology because it was on there, David. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Just while we're talking.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't find Aura.
But Aura History Untold, they've got a lot of Paradox Interactive games. They've had the Anno 1800 series, which there's a solid series from Ubisoft as well. So it's definitely a part of their profile and strategy to get these PC-centric, real-time strategy, turn-based strategy, 4X strategy games, and I think it's smart.
Well, you can see them like, I mean, to be fair, these big purchases have helped with it, but you can see them, what would you call it, diversifying the portfolio, because they almost have they have every genre for every gamer.
StarCraft. They've got StarCraft now. StarCraft 2. I think that it's on purpose that they brought StarCraft and StarCraft 2 to Game Pass and announced it at Tokyo Game Show. I think StarCraft's not dead. We're going to get another version now that Microsoft owns it.
I think, the old, it's become a thing now. Like every game developer wears a t-shirt now as a clue. And he was wearing a StarCraft t-shirt. And then, yes, he did announce StarCraft and StarCraft 2 coming to Xbox.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a StarCraft. And here's why.
Not Xbox, Game Pass.
Everybody wants into the East as a gaming audience because they spend money. That's just the reality.
I don't know.
They're a big market that spends money on video games, and they buy games that monetize. Like, that's just fact.
Don't they have like 70% of the world's population?
Yeah, but I'm talking about I guess. Yeah, I mean, they have a lot. I don't know if it's 70%.
They spend money. They spend a lot of money.
They spend a lot of money.
Because of just...
but StarCraft, to me, is specifically for Korea. Like, that's you are including that in your profile. You're going to bring a new StarCraft just for that foothold in the East.
I mean, maybe eventually one day we'll get a StarCraft 3, but I don't think
we are going to get one.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's for sure.
I think...
Count this. Everybody, count this. Mark this. We're for sure getting one.
I think...
I agree. That's an IP that just is too...
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be for a while.
It's too powerful.
It's too powerful. I bet you we get an announcement before the next gen console drops.
I don't know. What I do think they're doing, though, is I think we're going to get a StarCraft, some type of StarCraft game, like an offshoot. Yeah.
Oh, Halo Wars. Don't forget about Halo Wars. Halo Wars, I think, is one of the most underrated real-time strategy games out there.
I think every strategy game is underrated just because of StarCraft.
That's
so
true.
Here's the thing.
That is true.
So Microsoft owns this whole
space
umbrella of games.
Yeah.
Let's say they do make a StarCraft 3.
Yeah.
Do you have Blizzard develop it?
Yes.
Yeah, of
100% yes.
Okay.
Why would you not?
Well,
there's a unique.
I can think of a few reasons why you would not.
Okay. Yeah, but those have nothing. Those issues don't necessarily have anything to do with the actual game development.
You know all the layoffs they've done. They got rid of all the crappy people.
Oh well, maybe okay.
Yeah. So
think about it. Every game that they have made has defined genres.
Yeah,
it's true.
Minus one.
Heroes.
Heroes of the Storm. Yeah.
Heroes didn't.
Well, sort of. They made Warcraft 3, which turned into Dota, which
true.
turned into which
true.
offshooted League of Legends.
Okay. So I see what you're. I see the. Yeah.
They're the grandparents of MOBAs.
But isn't Dota amiss by them as well in that they didn't capitalize on it?
Yes.
But they were the
engine
parents
was used to create it.
Yes, they are the parent.
They actually changed their end user license agreement because of the success of Dota.
So now they own it.
So they
would own it.
Yeah, so they tried to get Dota back, and Valve was like, "No,
I don't think so."
and they lost. They actually lost the court case. So
Valve wins every time.
The next,
I don't think so.
The very next day or whatever, like the lawyers got on it, and there is now a new section in the end user license agreement.
Yeah, so that dropped. Aura, History Untold. Go check it out. Game Pass. Day one.
Beast in chat says, is StarCraft only PC? Sort of. Yes, right now, but I played StarCraft on the Nintendo 64.
As did I.
And 7 frames per second was pretty incredible. Especially the
other thing.
last levels.
Do you think Microsoft, like, let's say they say, hey, Blizzard, here's the go-ahead, make StarCraft 3, have it out at X amount of time, right? Do you think they tell them, hey, you need to
Every
make a console
every
version?
game's gonna have controller support from now on. That discussion, we're long past that discussion. Every real, I mean, look at they do real time strategy really well. Age of Empires has done really well.
Yeah.
Halo Wars has done really well.
Diablo.
They've broken
Yeah.
that. We've crushed through that glass ceiling.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mouse and keyboard is still better. I think it's just easier, less muscle memory required. But
How do you do StarCraft? Because there are essence of what makes a good StarCraft player. Obviously, you got to know the game, know the mechanics, all this stuff. But actions per minute is really important, and you do not get APM on a controller.
yeah, but a lot of those actions I see are just people clicking the map a million times.
Yeah, they call that
Well, and maybe
is it
it's-
called bumping, I believe. I can't remember the term, but it's to keep the
Yeah,
player
the rhythm, like you're skipping
Yeah,
like
you're
your
in.
rhythm, right?
Hey, man,
Correct.
they're winning Fortnite tournaments
but
on phones.
They
I'm sure
actually have
I'm sure there's someone will find a way.
There's effective APM as well.
What about the
David.
dude-
They actually clock effective
Oh, do
APM,
they?
so not just clicks.
What do they do with the dude with Neuralink? They can play games with his mind.
Right now, I believe he can only like move a line up and down.
I think they showed him playing like legit games.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. We should.
Well,
pull
then
that
that's the next input device.
Yes. So like,
Your
imagine
mind.
playing
Okay.
StarCraft with your
I
mind.
want controller and keyboard on this side and Neuralink on that side.
Yeah. What, yeah. And you're just like
That's literally the
sending guys-
aliens in XCOM.
sending guys to mine. And
You know the guys that like.
does your APM matter on with your mind? Doesn't matter. It doesn't exist.
It does. I mean, if you're stupid, it's going to be low. If
That's where drugs matter. You want to be sharp.
that's where you need that Adderall.
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
Cocaine will become
Yeah.
a tournament.
It's like the
drug.
steroids of the mind.
Well, I think the reason they would add controller support is just an accessibility. Like, you can play it on
Well, it's
controller.
also Xbox's
Yeah.
selling point here for Game Pass too is play any game, anywhere, anytime on anything.
Yeah.
It's just going to be very keyboard and mouse on first-person shooters is one thing. Keyboard and mouse on RTSs is an entirely different.
I mean, if you look at Halo Wars 2, because I'm thinking, like, okay, you would...
they did it good.
Well, yeah, because they basically made control groups with the D-pad, and you can even... And what StarCraft does, you can lock a camera to a control group, and that's how you can get to those sections of the map so fast.
Yeah.
Halo Wars allowed you to do that, too, didn't you? You could lock a camera to
But
it.
you could- it wasn't custom.
I mean, it's there.
If I remember right, Halo Wars was just it was based like those points of interest. It wasn't custom.
it wasn't a custom
Maybe, so,
camera.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's...
it was
But I mean,
points
like
of
that's
interest.
that's at least step one.
Points
you
of
know
interest
what I mean? So
and
like, it's
obviously troops, but
troop control.
the difference between a keyboard and mouse is better. Like let's say you could compete on a controller. And I'm sure someone is going to be able to.
You're going to be a rock star, man.
The difference is, I think, is the ease of entry. The controller with RTS requires memorization, muscle memory, memorization. I'll give you a prime example, Jordan. NCAA football. You see me go through the audibles and knowing those, being able to do those in 2 seconds, that's just muscle memory. On a mouse and keyboard, that type of action is just point click. Like it doesn't take as much of that muscle memory that you have to get used to for all the different games because they're hidden behind hold down left bumper and the D-pad, and that does something. Hold down right bumper, and you got a bunch of options. Hold down, you know what I mean? Like it's mass. Whereas a mouse and keyboard, it's not hidden behind those menus. It's just click.
Yeah, well, they would have for a ladder system, which they would definitely do for StarCraft. You would have to separate it, and they already do in Overwatch. You have the ladder system on console versus the ladder system on PC, so it exists. You can't, but the problem with that is it splits out your player base. But if it's a popular game, that doesn't necessarily matter too much.
So let's pull up some games that are coming to Game Pass, and then we'll get out of here for that. This is from the Tokyo Game Show. So obviously we already talked about Final Fantasy. That's not coming to Game Pass. But we talked about, what are the two games from Square Enix? Trials of Mana and Legend of Mana coming. But let's pull up this one that made me laugh. It's called Tank Pawns Summer.
Oh, is it the little indie game?
This game.
With, is it like a squirrel or
Tank
a badger?
Pawns Summer, trailer.
I don't know how to even begin to I know what you're talking about. Let me see if I can find it on this screen. Keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think I find it here.
Oh, yeah, you'll find it there for sure, because that was everything.
It was like the first half of it, right?
It was the very first game.
That's it right here.
Yeah.
Found it. Okay.
Yeah, this game. So this game, for those of you listening, you play as animals, but it reminds me of Paperboy. There's like some Paperboy element to this game. That was the first thought that I had when this game was showed. So this is on Game Pass. This is coming to Game Pass. It's not here yet, but this is coming to Game Pass. Very unique. Right, I was just showing the animations. You're picking up packages and you're delivering it.
You gotta watch out for bandits.
And then when you go to gameplay here, there's fishing. Does that mean? There it is. There's the gameplay. Look at, you're doing like tricks on your BMX. You're at the post office. At first, I thought, okay, that's Animal Crossing, but then he's delivering packages, and I'm like, oh, Paperboy. Dad, look at that. He's grinding a rail. So I don't know what this game is.
I believe it's called casual gaming.
But it looks
right, Jordan?
Hilarious.
I think this is one where you just relax and chill.
This is gonna be like a nice palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser game. Yeah. That's right.
Tell me this game doesn't look awesome though. It looks super awesome.
And he gets a little popsicle at the end.
The popsicle currency.
So that's Tonk Pond Summer.
Tanuki Pond Summer.
Oh, is it Tanuki?
Yeah,
I completely misspelled that. Yeah, Tanuki Pond Summer. Tanuki Pond Summer.
That's why I couldn't find it, because I was searching for that.
Looks so cool. A game that has dropped on Game Pass today that was shared is We Katamari, and it's a rolling game. And you might ask yourself, what is a rolling game? If you want to pull it up, basically, Jordan, do you remember this trailer?
Yeah, it's basically like if you took a snowball and rolled it in the snow.
Isn't
That's kind of this game, but just with life objects?
What's it called?
We Love Katamari.
Yeah, I saw this
right there.
So isn't this like a game that? Isn't this a game that has like a following? Isn't this like an IP? Oh, it's not pulling up. Sorry, guys. But because swear
two more down.
I swear. Yeah, the link's busted. I swear I've seen this game in the past, like the style of the game.
Oh, there it is. I saw it on that page. If you go down fourth row, second one in.
Yeah, okay. I swear I've seen this, but
mild fantasy violence.
Well, yeah, you're rolling things over, and the point is to get as big as possible.
Get the biggest ball.
This reminds me of that game. Remember that it got real big for a while, Up, where the goal was just to go up. That's like what this. That's like this. This kind of reminds me of that. Like the goal is just to roll your ball.
This is a more advanced game of Snake. Just eat the smaller worms.
Oh, there you go. C-Rad says yes. Katamaru games have been around since PS2 days. So that's why it's We Love Katamaru. That's what that is. So this is like Katamaru is the style of game.
He's rolling buildings.
Yeah. See, I've never played these games, but I recognize the style.
I see.
Now, talk about a chill game.
Yeah. It looks.
This is another palate cleanser.
So this is on Game Pass now. Dropped today. I downloaded this as well. I'll be checking it out with my kids. It looks like one of those games that you could play with kids.
There was mild violence. Are you sure?
Roll now, roll later. I mean, I played Diablo 4 with my kids, so which I probably shouldn't have.
No, that one I actually did too, but he was like 8 months, so it was just like drooling. He was a potato in my lap.
The other one that dropped today is All You Need Is Help, and I have played this one, and this dropped on Game Pass.
That one does look funny, actually. It's like a party. It's a party.
This one I played with my kids, actually, and it is a lot of fun. We laughed. It's a party game. There it is. All You Need Is Help. It is a party game. You cannot play it single player. You need to have at least 2 players. And what's interesting is when you play with 2 players, it splits the controller in half. You control each player as 2 players controls 2 people. and your right joystick is one person, your left joystick's another person, and these are your people. And it's solving puzzles as a group, and there's a timer, and you have to do it within the time. And it is hilarious because here's the controls. Left joystick to move, A to interact with something. That is it. You cannot move around, like, you see how there's shapes? You can't move your shape how you want to.
You have to walk into things.
You have to
and-
walk into things to
So
move
you have to
them.
walk into each other.
You have to walk into each other, so it can get highly frustrating. My son almost cried. But then also, like, it's hilarious what happened. Then what happens is, and they're showing this, right there you have houses. So as you play the game, you get coins, which you then exchange for furniture, and you go and decorate your house.
This actually looks like a good time that'll end relationships.
We should stream this game.
Absolutely.
This game would be a great streamer game.
Absolutely.
It's a party game. Things get pretty complicated, as you can see, like, and it gets increasingly difficult, but it's hilarious. Even the sounds, like, see the ball of yarn? There's a bunch of levels where you got to push the ball, and you can go off a cliff, and he's just going, when you release him, he's going, help me, please help me. Dude, this game is cool. I really like this game. If you're looking for a good game to play with your kids or friends, it's a party game. Think Mario. Look at this soccer. And you can see it's a really unique concept.
Yeah.
It's like Tetris.
A party puzzler.
A party Tetris puzzler. That
will end relationships.
With adorable plushies.
I can see myself getting so mad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you.
But this was on Game Pass too, right?
This is Game Pass. It's right now. So I downloaded. I played this before the show because I was like, I gotta check this out. But a ton of fun dropped already as well. So we Katumaru. And then was there another one on Game Pass? There was a lot on Game Pass, and I was trying to keep track of them all.
Didn't
What?
Phil Spencer say at the beginning? Didn't he say something to the effect of Xbox has never been bigger?
Yeah,
this is
they
the
actually hit
biggest
on that
Xbox has
quite a few
been
times,
in
and that
Asia.
they're still growing. And
Yeah, and that just goes to the point that they're putting in the effort, they're putting in the work. It seems like that's starting to pay off with their relationships with, for instance, Square Enix that's coming, with their relationships with there's Konami games that are coming. There's Capcom has had some big presence on Game Pass as well. And I think I said this in my video earlier today. Jordan originally disagreed with me, but then
really?
now agrees with me.
Where can people watch your video?
X1 the Gamer.
There you go.
Yeah. The question, can Xbox compete with PlayStation in Asia? I think absolutely yes. No question. I think they can overtake PlayStation. And the reason is Game Pass. The reason is how mobile it is. For instance, Sarah Bond came on in the middle of this and talked about how you can play this on Amazon Fire TV Stick. I think that is done for a very specific reason. Because again, like Jordan said, the audience here is Japan. Japan games differently. Jordan, we were talking earlier, they still have internet cafes. They're huge. They're popular there. The Nintendo Switch succeeds there because they're all about mobile gaming. They're all about handheld gaming. I actually think that's why both PlayStation and Xbox are exploring handhelds to try to lock up potential audience in Asia. And I think Game Pass fits into that perfectly. It's just easy. Yeah. It's a digital download.
Why? I don't think they're gonna. Well, that's what we're talking about. I don't think they're gonna overtake them in console sales because I think there's too much to compete with in Japan. Because you're not just competing with PlayStation, you're competing with Nintendo. And what I mean by that is like you're competing for people's money, right? So this person may not buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, they'll go for a Nintendo. So that just takes away a sale from you right there. Where I do think, like you said, I think it'll be Game Pass. People buy their new TVs, Game Pass is on there. We actually have a cousin in Hawaii who bought a new Samsung TV without even knowing it, loaded up Game Pass, and he was like, oh, I can play Xbox, went and got a controller, bam, he's playing Forza Horizon, he's playing all these games. I think that's where they're going to do very well in those markets.
Well, but that's the whole thing. The ecosystem is the question. And so, I think it's not inevitable. I think it's highly probable that they do. And the thing is, to do that with hardware, it takes time. It takes time, and things happen at a slower pace because you've got to get the hardware. A digital download, a subscription service, when it happens, it can happen fast, and it can happen exponentially, and it can happen overnight. You can go from 0 downloads in Japan or 0 subscribers to 5 million subscribers in a week. Like there's that type of virality that can happen with digital items and digital products and a subscription service.
Yeah, and if you're Netflix, you can increase your prices substantially, and then I can leave. And that happened. I no longer have Netflix. I got rid of it.
Yeah. Netflix, I've gone through all of them. I switch through them from time to time. Currently, when you look at overall package of movie subscription service and TV subscription service, I think Netflix is the best. Overall package. It has more variety. It has more unique shows that are good.
I just got mad that they were charging me for my brother to use my account.
Yeah, they changed those.
I was really mad.
Whereas
So I was like,
Amazon, and if you think about it,
I was a good customer for a very long time. I was buying their HD service.
yeah,
And then they wanted an extra, like $7? It's like, screw you guys, I'm out.
to have different households.
Don't piss me off.
But on that point, what makes them the best is that they've been in it the longest, and so they've curated all this content and continued it, and so they've got a substantial library there that I think is one of the best. The second place I'd put HBO Max. Again, same reason they already had a content library there. Disney is not in the top. Do I put them even third? I don't even put Disney third. It doesn't seem like Disney. Like when I logged into Disney, it's like, there's nothing new.
Well, Disney
ever.
has all their
It's-
classic stuff, which is like
the classic stuff is what you get Disney. But as far as new stuff, like I mean, all the Marvel stuff is in there. But as far as like unique TV shows that you have to watch, they've had one or two, but it doesn't feel as consistent or as fleshed out as.
I mean, they're going through what everybody else went through, right?
Yeah,
Just your typical growing pain.
And
Bad writers.
Yeah.
And Amazon is okay, but Amazon is more like a store. I go to Amazon to rent and buy digital movies more. Also, they completely destroyed Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings.
I know.
So they're 0 for 2.
And He-Man.
They're 0 for 2 in the fantasy
And
genre.
He-Man.
And He-Man. What is
0 for
He-Man
3.
a sci-fi fantasy?
It's
Or is it just
fantasy. I mean,
sci-fi?
he's
Yeah,
a,
that's the same genre. When you go to a bookstore, sci-fi fantasy is the same genre.
Yeah, true.
They put it together.
yeah. So they're 0 for
Even though
3
it's
right
not.
now.
They're 0 for 3. They're 0 for 3 on that.
Ironically,
genre.
like they're
But
more
on the Tom Clancy genre,
yeah,
they're
like
like
they're
crushing
doing
it.
pretty good there.
the
You know,
heck?
like the realistic stuff.
Yeah, they've got freaking Reacher, who's a badass.
Yeah.
Well, and the difference between the two is Reacher respects the source material.
And what's the Jim Ryan? What's the Jack Ryan? Jack Ryan.
Actually, his name is James. I think it's James Ryan, but they call him Jack.
Jack Ryan, solid.
Again, I think they respect the source material.
Even the Terminal List, I thought
Oh,
was.
the Terminal
I've
List
actually
is really
heard
good.
the Terminal List is like way different from the book, but
Yeah,
But the show is
Did you
good.
watch the Terminal List, Spicy?
Nah.
Oh, it's good, dude. It's really good.
Okay.
If you like Tom Clancy style stuff, the Terminal List is
here,
really
here,
good.
I have a question for
Wait,
you.
what's the terminal list about?
A dude that kills everybody?
dude that just murders
a
people.
good
Oh, yeah,
guy.
I'm in.
A good guy.
And this dude is Chris Pratt.
It's basically a good dude who's been pushed to the edge.
yeah, he has been pushed by the government.
So he
I like
goes
that.
after him.
yeah, so he says that's
That's
it.
why I like Breaking Bad.
He puts them on a list, if you will.
He says
The terminal list.
Oh, Man in the High Castle.
Hey,
yeah, was interesting. as well.
I have a question. Did the Bourne series respect the source material? Because it's way different than the book, but the movies are actually really good.
Actually, it respected the source material in the fact that it didn't suck.
Yeah. Okay.
But the books and the movies are vastly different from each other. Vastly different.
But because the movie didn't suck, everyone's cool with it.
Well, the movies were written well. And it was for fans of the books, it was fun to watch the movies because it was a different story.
Yeah.
They're legitimately a different story. The only similarity is an agent wakes up with amnesia that was deep undercover.
Yeah.
That's the
So
only
moral of
same-
the story is you can change the story. You can change it. Just don't make it suck.
Yeah, and of course they
Because
changed
actually, Lord
it
of the Rings changed a lot of
25
stuff.
years ago. I think
But it didn't suck.
I think they would have a little bit more pushback if they did it today because we're so fed up with how people are changing IPs. But
They suck at it.
even like Hunt for Red October, the book versus the novel, There are
Versus
some
the movie, you mean?
What's that?
Versus the movie?
Or yeah, that's what the book versus the novel. The book versus the movie, yeah. It's there are some significant differences
That's the one with Sean Connery, right?
Yeah.
But see, that doesn't suck, you know?
So B says that Amazon has one of the best animes that everyone should watch, Vox Machina.
Vox Machina. Yeah, that's
Machina, sorry.
the Critical Role people. That's
Oh, is
their
it good?
first campaign. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I mean,
Did you watch it?
I started watching it. You got to be in the mood for it. I don't know how to describe it. So,
really?
Yeah. I don't know. So Beast
I haven't watched anime in a while. I should watch some.
Beast really liked it. That's
Yeah,
good.
Beast says,
and I really respect
good.
it. Maybe I'll get back into it. I tried, but see, when I started watching Critical Role, it was campaign 2. And so I got used to like high production when they were doing their Critical Role. For those that don't know, they're a D&D Dungeons and Dragons. Like they're broadcast them playing Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, they're
Broadcast.
Yeah, and Vox Machina was their like first campaign. And when I tried to go back and watch that, because I became a big fan of those guys, the production value and the audio quality was
For the anime?
for the campaign. Vox Machina is about their first campaign.
Yeah.
So
So you watched the campaign, not the anime.
no, I tried to watch the campaign, but I couldn't get into Vox Machina. I tried to watch that, but I just didn't have the time and effort and stuff like that.
Okay.
But so I'm just trying to give backstory to what that show is.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's interesting, Beast. I'll probably have to revisit that one. I respect Beast's opinion on anime. He brought me My Hero Academia.
Yeah, man, we talked about that twice now.
Yeah.
That's anime is in the house today. All right,
You know
everybody.
what anime I'm watching right now, and I missed it when it came out. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I hear that all the Full Metal Alchemists are.
Yeah, it's very good.
And that is a story, by the way, of taking criticism and doing better.
Why
Yeah,
did they get
because-
criticized?
the first anime, Full Metal Alchemist, went away from the original manga,
Because it wasn't finished yet.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
and then they came out with Brotherhood because they wanted to have an anime series that followed the actual manga,
Oh, cool.
and it's very good actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're all
You guys should
Attack-
watch Free Run.
C-Rads, any Attack on Titan fans? I think we're all Attack on Titan fans.
Yeah. Anyways,
Well, that does us for today, everybody. If you've not watched the Tokyo Game Show presentation, go watch it. Take 45 minutes. A lot of great trailers in there. Some games that we didn't even get to. We just focused on the Game Pass ones today. But just to recap, I think Xbox is crushing it in Japan, especially compared to the Xbox One era, no question. But it definitely feels like there's some momentum there for sure, and it's exciting. Go check out everything on Game Pass that dropped today. There's a lot there. So that does us for today. There is no after show, everybody. Apologies. We got started later than usual, and Jordan the man is traveling tomorrow, so he has to leave. So we'll see you next week. But thank you very much, everybody. Have a great week. Goodbye.